application, it'll bring you to this screen. This is what we'll be using, Jupyter Notebook. And so click install. Mine says launch because I already have it installed, but if yours says install, click that, and then Anaconda will take care of the installation for you. And then next time you open the application, it'll say launch, and you can just click the launch button. And then this may appear as just how Anaconda launches a notebook. And then Jupyter Notebook will launch, and note that it's launching inside of a browser. So I'm on Google Chrome right now, but it may look different if you're on Internet Explorer or Firefox. But this is Jupyter Notebook, and you can use this and navigate your file structure. So if you want to go into your desktop or downloads or wherever you want to save your notebooks, that should be the folder you go into. But for now, we're going to click New and Python 3. But you can also create text files, folders, and terminal windows from right here. But we're not going to worry about that today. We're just going to create a Python 3 notebook. And note that Jupyter Notebook creates another tab in your browser and creates this notebook for you. So we'll just cover a couple of things in this notebook. So there's this file tab. You can create a new notebook. You can open an existing notebook. You can make copies, save, rename files. You can save and make checkpoints, or you can revert back to checkpoints. You can also download your file. So a cool thing about Jupyter Notebook, since it's browser-based, you can download your file as the HTML file, and you'll be able to see your code and all of your cells, which we'll talk more about in a minute. And it'll be nicely formatted, and it's a really nice way to share your code with other people. And since it's an HTML file, they don't even need Jupyter or Anaconda installed to view them. But most of the time, you would want to download your code as a notebook, so this IPYNB extension, or as a traditional Python file with this PY extension. And so now, you can also click this Edit tab, and this is where you'll be able to manipulate cells. But before we get into that, I want to talk about what exactly a cell is. This, what I'm clicked into right now, is a cell. There are two types of cells, code cells and markdown cells. When you create a cell, what you can do by clicking this plus button up here, and then it creates a code cell. So if you click into a code cell, you can type Python code. So now we'll type our first line of code. So we'll just type 1 plus 1. And now we're going to run this. There are multiple ways you can run a cell. You can click cell, and then you can either run the cell, you can run cell and select the cell beneath it, run the cell and insert a cell beneath it, run all of the cells above the one you have selected, run all of the cells below the one you have selected. You can change the cell type from a code to a markdown cell or a raw MB convert cell. Or you can actually clear your cell output, which we'll see in a second, or you can clear all of your output. So we'll just click this run cell button. And it runs our cell and it shows us the output is 2 because 1 plus 1 equals 2. And that's how code cells work. And I'm going to talk about two other ways you can run a code cell. So the other one is if you hold the control key and click enter, then that runs your cell. Notice every time we run a cell, this number over here increases. And another way you can run the cell is you can hold shift and hit enter, and that runs the cell and selects the next cell. When you do control enter, that just runs the cell and leaves that current cell selected. When you do shift enter, that runs the cell and selects the next cell. So the second type of cell I want to talk to you about is a markdown cell. So in the previous video, we talked about how a Jupyter Notebook can be used to create and document code. So you can create code in a code cell, and you can document your code in a markdown cell. So to switch from a code to a markdown cell, you can come up here, go to cell type, and you can switch between code and markdown cells, or you can click the left side of a cell and you'll see that this turns blue, and that's how you know that that cell is selected. And if you type Y, then it becomes a code cell. And if you type M, it becomes a markdown cell. So let's make this a code cell, and we'll do 100 times 2. And it says 200. But let's click the left side of the cell and then type M to make it a markdown cell. See how it changes and it's no longer colored? So let's run that. And then our markdown cell turns into this, where you can just see what you had typed in there. There's a lot of really cool formatting things you can do with markdown cells, and it's a really great way to document your code, and you can make it look really neat and aesthetically pleasing. And we're going to talk about how you can do that in the next video. But you've created your first notebook. And lastly, I'm just going to teach you how to rename your notebooks. So you could go to File and Rename, or you could just double click the name of your notebook here and enter a new notebook name. So we'll call this my_first_notebook. And to save your notebook, you can click on the left side of any cell and then type S. And then it'll say last checkpoint a few seconds ago. And your file is saved. And to close Jupyter Notebook, you can exit out of these windows and then quit the application like you would quit any other application. So thank you for watching this video. Well, in the next video, we will be discussing how to format markdown cells, and then we'll get more into programming. So thank you for joining us, and I will see you in the next video.